Right. Shalom Israel. Yahweh Bashim Yahushai to the brothers. Yahweh Shema Latam Bashim Yahushai to all the sisters. Alright. This is the I.S.U.P.K out of Trinidad. We are the I.S.U.P.K out of 121st Street. New York and the command in GEN.YAHANNA. Started out in 1969, teaching the truth that so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Indians are the biblical Israelites of the Bible. Right? You should not forget that word, right? So today I just hold on for somewhat quiet for the biblical law class. Right? And today what we're going to go into is the Lord's laws is full of mercy. Alright? So the first thing we want to make is that clear. You understand? We're in a section on something real important, right? Because the people in the world, right, or society today like to say that all of us is human beings now, you know, all of us equal, and all of us, not able to do certain things. All of us, you understand, born in sin, shape in iniquity. You hear all them type of, phrases and stuff like that now. But the children of Israel now, the Lord gave them mercy in terms that He gave them laws. You understand? He gave them kindness. He showed us mercy. He showed us favor. He showed us, some respect. So later on, we go into the scriptures and see why the Lord did not choose to do this, and also how the Lord's laws, showing that it's full of mercy them, right? And why it is that is a real great thing that we have an opportunity as the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Indians to have some guidelines for our lives. You know what I mean? Something that we could actually go to help, build up ourselves, build our communities, build families, if we take care of certain situations, deal with all manner of things that we face on the face of the earth when the other races on the planet, they don't have that ability. They don't have that, They didn't, their forefathers didn't have, they didn't earn the Lord respect, right? So He gave that to our forefathers, and this is something that they pay a little bit more close attention to, because it's something that you wouldn't get in the Christian church, you wouldn't get it in the Muslim mosque, you wouldn't get it in politics, you wouldn't get it in all the places that everybody else mainstream and pushing the agenda every day. So you're going to work back and forth, you're going to school, coming up as a young man, coming up as a young lady, and you're thinking, and all these things that you're hearing on a daily basis is shaping the way you look at things. It's shaping the way that you think about things, the way you see the world itself. When the Lord give you a different standard of living, and the reason why these things that you're hearing could never bring a change, the real practical change you're looking for to be able to develop into proper thinking and a family that could sustain itself and be an example, like your forefathers and your foremothers was. You want to know, well, how come you look in the Bible and you could never really relate it, you could never really, come to really meet the standard or meet up to what it is you're saying in the Bible, so it's looking so foreign because of all the things that you're hearing and seeing on a daily basis, right? So what the Lord bringing out here now, or what He gave to us, is something that would always have the opportunity to bring us back to grassroots, bring us back to a place where you're actually thinking, because by this standards and what it is you're getting, you wouldn't be able to really function or think or perceive or even assess things as you should. All right. So without any more delay, as the intro, Salakia, we're going to go into the definition of human, because the word saying that all of us is human beings, but the Lord saying that we is rulers, we is judges. You know what I mean? Whole Psalms 82 and 6, right? So the Lord say that I gave you all, understand, a different standard to everybody else, right? You all are not the same. I severed you from other people so that you will be my people. You can be the people that represent me, right? So we're going to get the definition of human, and we're going to get the definition of humane. And we're going to go through now categorically and show, you understand, the difference between us as the children of Israel, who was given laws, and why these things so beneficial to us, as opposed to what the Christian church saying, and the other races and the other heathens and all right? So the first definition we want to go to is human. Baba Kisha warrior, read that from Baba Kisha. The first one, number one, right, that is seen on the screen there, right? This one right there. Yeah, Baba Kisha.
Definition of human. of relating to or characteristics of a human.
Right, so let me see what the characteristics of a human is, right? We're going down to the definition, the third definition, part B. So what's some of the definitions of a human being? Read it, Babakasha.
Representative of or
susceptible
to its sympathies,
sympathies,
sympathies
and frailties
of human nature.
Right, and frailties of human nature, right? So this is the aspect here I want to look at it. Right, so you represent the human being, right? The human or the human mind, the human way of thinking, right? Is either representative or susceptible. So you're always then vulnerable. You're always susceptible. Look up that definition, Babakisha, right? In the meantime. So you're always, you understand, you always find yourself prey then or fall victim to having human traits. Right? And the frailties like you're fragile, you know, you're easy to break. It's easy to, you know, to shift you off of how you're supposed to live. Right? That's why you see in the other races and anytime that they fall to bankruptcy and anything like that, you would find them committing suicide. These Indians would drink poison. They follow all these different things are human attributes. But the Lord didn't give that, you know what I mean? But the Lord does not have those type of attributes. Our forefather Jacob, you understand? The kind of history behind us, he wrestled with the angel. He wrestled with the angel, you know what I mean? And he said, well, yeah, I go in until I get my blessing. Right? Abel, he bring the best of his sacrifice and all that. Right? Is the way that our people, you know what I mean, our lineage always used to deal with situations, always used to think, always used to go through and fight. We always had that kind of fight. We always had that, you know, that type of confidence in the Most High, or trust in the Most High, and to fight through, and not to give up, and not to be frail. You understand? Not to break so easy, right? All right, give me the definition of frailty, Babakisha.
Oh, susceptible.
Yes, yeah, give me that one. So like, yeah, well, frailty, you can skip that because then somebody else can look up that. You know what I mean? When they home, whoever watching, they can look up the definition of frailty. You can go to, but you want to get the definition of susceptible though. Babakisha, go ahead.
Definition of susceptible. Capable of submitting to an action, process, or operation.
You're capable of submitting to
an action, a process, or operation.
Right. So, go ahead.
It's our next one too. 2. Open subject or unresistant to some stimulus, influence, or
give me that again, Babakisha. That is the one I'm looking for. Give me that one. The both of them correct, but you see that one how they went in a little bit more deep. Give me that one, Babakisha. And I give you the actual root definition. Go ahead.
Open subject or unresistant to some stimulus, influence,
or unresistant to. You can't resist. You understand? You must give in. You must fall weak. You must fall prey. Read on.
To some stimulus, influence, or agency.
To some stimulus, influence, or whoever it is the people in power. If it's Democrats in power, well, I have to do what the Democrats say, as the people say on the streets and the world. When we're in Rome, we do what the Romans do. Right now, the Lord give to you. So-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians, you all don't have that standard. The Lord give you mercy. It seems right now that you're facing the harshest penalties, and that even is a lot of mercy, and we don't even recognize it. Because if somebody not beating you for, or not correcting you for the things that you're doing, you'll only continue to do the same foolishness, the same wickedness, and continue to fall time and time after, because there's nobody here giving you a guide. But the children of Israel, we have that. The Lord set up prophets. The Lord set up commanding GEN.YAHANNA today. You understand? The generals, the captains, the officers, the troopers down below. And there's always a system of checks and balances to make sure that you're living according, you're walking according to the manual. This is your we call it, wisdom thing on them? What do you call it again? Your constitution. Make sure that you're walking according to the culture your people in right here. Right? So what the pastor and they have us really going on is a suicide road. Right? Paul Baruch chapter 4 and verse 1, Babakisha, right? So that is the road that the Christian church have us going down when they're talking about the laws that the Lord has done away with, because they don't understand the Bible. So now they throw away the whole Bible. You know why? Because your oppressor is the people that fund your pastor. That is the person that directly set these people and them over you to influence you on a regular basis to tell you what's supposed to be wrong and right, right? Because that is where you perceive that the Lord is in the house of God, in the church. But every time we look, you understand, and always coming up in news, and always coming up in some situation, and always busting, right? There's some evil coming out of it. The reason why evil is coming out of it is because that is the direct one of the biggest, you understand, shops that set out for so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians, because you was given the manual to run the world right. So for all this prostitution to continue, right? For all the molestation to continue, for all the drug rings and them to continue, these people and them must always be your guideline, must always be the place that is soften you up, to make you susceptible, as the definition was saying there, to all manner of whoever in charge. So they seem like the only people they could trust. That is why people don't leave the Christian church like that. Because, you know, it's looking like the biggest influence, it's looking like the biggest powerhouse. You follow? But that is not the case. It's just set up that way so that you will fall prey to it and you will have no other choice, or you think that you have no other choice but to go there for guidance. You believe that is the place you're supposed to get guidance. Right? But you go on, the scriptures don't say that the truth will spring out of the earth. So all these different avenues you will see us. Wherever it is that the Lord say, you know what I mean, that we used to go. That is where you go see the church, that is where you see the Israelites, that is where you see the I.S.U.P.K, as a matter of fact. All right, so what we're gonna go into here is something real serious, which is your records. Without you understanding your records and they, right, but you wouldn't get in the Christian church, you wouldn't be able to go right back to the source to understand why the Lord give you these things for them to do, right? How it came about, so that you could go right back there and say, Dad, Mom, or whoever it is, or you self as a parent now looking down to your children and saying, hey, look at how my children just behave, you understand? Look at how they just operate. When I'm looking in the scriptures, I'm seeing the same thing, the same attributes. You follow? Mingle with flour, you understand? We like fried chicken, we like this, we like that. All these different things is keys, as markers, as hints now, you understand? You understand? Showing you, okay, this is what going on with your people and them. Not only the likes, but the blessing that you're supposed to get. Right? You being the salt of the earth, you being, you understand, having the ability to make everybody else's business rise, and you for some reason you can't catch your own self. You're working for a company 30 years, 40 years as a maid, whatever the case is, or somebody low level, and they just continue to take advantage of you. Right? So Deuteronomy 28 now is the same marker now to show you where you leave off for your laws to know where it is you need to come back to. All right. So give me the Baruch 4:1, and then from there I read the Exodus. Go ahead.
Baruch chapter 4 and verse 1.
Go ahead.
This is the book of the commandment of the Most High.
Right.
And the Lord that endureth forever.
And the Lord that endureth forever. Read on.
All they that keep it shall come to life.
All they that keep it shall come to life. So the reason why there's death in our community is because we're not keeping the things that here. Right? The book, the laws and they, right? The laws on them is saying, okay, that is black, this is white, this is blue, that's to do, that is not to do. Right? Without that the Christian church make you feel that is not, you understand, not important, because you'll say, okay, I go do a white lie. No, you can't white lie, you understand? You can't smoke a little bit, or you can't overdrink too much, you understand? Or you can't say, well, okay, you know what I mean? I don't have sex with 10,000 men, I only have sex with 3. You can't do that, you follow? You can't say, well, all right, you know what I mean? Since the sister, you know, she playing man, whatever the guy says, I go just leave, you know what I mean? I go let she do she own thing. On the side, you leave she alone. No. You can have more than one wife, man, but you have to know exactly how you're supposed to lead the woman. So you have to come back to what it is you're supposed with, what it is you was given. Once you understand that, then everything can run as it's supposed to. You follow? Now everything that you face, all the trials in your face and all that, you will have the guidelines exactly how to deal with that situation, how to build up that woman, how to correct the woman. You follow? How to show an example that woman would see. You follow that you is more than, you understand, equipped and able to be able to guide her life, so that she will humble herself down and submit to you. You follow? That is what you need, but you need to come back to your records. The reason why you have all this chaos is because the pastor and them, right, pushing this garbage that, hey, you know what I mean, sow a seed and everything easy, but that is not how life does work. Everything you know that you're facing today, however it is, however long you're facing, you're walking on the earth, you know nothing does come overnight, you know nothing, it ain't a lot of system. Right? That luck and chance of any cases, if the Lord decide, all right, I will put something on it, or the person and decide, okay, I'm going to give my marital partner here and my you understand, my partners and I'm here, a cut, or whatever the case is. That has nothing to do with you. What you have complete control over is how it is you react to all situations. And to be able to do that, you have to go back to your records and them, which is the law. That is the mercy that the Lord gives to you. All right? Read on, Baba Kisha.
But such as leave it shall die.
But such as leave the laws, you follow what you're supposed to do, obviously you'll die. Not because, you know what I mean, a person passing at you one time, or, you know, or somebody didn't shoot you or somebody didn't stab you, that didn't mean that you ain't dying. You follow these. You see the worries and them that you get on a regular basis when you face that situation and you want to cuss, or, you know, or the boss robbing you, or, you know, somebody did you a bad hand, your children and don't know how to operate, or your sister and your brother moving that kind of way with you, because they don't have no laws. So obviously, what happens everybody day, right? Like Borat, like 3 Borat, 4 Borat in one hole. Obviously, you all will crash. You all will clash, and with that clashing now, obviously, death does come, right? Slow death, fast death, the same death, but you don't have to die. All right. Let me go up to give me the Holy Psalms 82 and 6, Baba Kisha, all right? Let me read the Exodus chapter 2, verse 23 to 25, right? Exodus chapter 2, verse 23, and it came to pass in process of time that the king of Egypt died, and the children of Israel sighed by reason of the bondage, and they cried, and their cry came up to the Most High by reason of the bondage. Bondage means slavery, right? Verse 24, and the Most High heard their groaning, and the Most High remembered his covenant with Abraham, with Isaac, and with Jacob. So he remembered the promise that he made to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And that is the Lord looking out with mercy and say, look how my people living already. Imagine now you follow you as a big CEO of the cases, you as a brother, you know, you probably make it in sports or singing or in some business, you know what I mean? Whatever the case is, and you now looking down and watching your cousin and them, you know, or your little brother and them, you know, living and look how they're suffering, you know what I mean? Look at how people mistreating them, right? And some farm somewhere, they back, I got back somewhere. And you know, they were looking for $100 a day. You know, they're working from about 6 o'clock to 6 o'clock, barely getting anything to drink, you know what I mean? Barely anything to survive. All that, nothing changed. It's the same way we living today, the same way we living in Egypt. So the Lord looking down and watching the condition, you know, and say, well, look how my people that call, you understand that I big up them. Look how I had the grandfather them living, because the grandfather showed me, well, boy, he ready for me. Right, and look how them living away, you know what I mean? Look at what's going on with them now. And they're waiting up, them cussing God, you know what I mean? They're really feeling it, and they're crying, and they're going, they don't know what to do. Just like in Egypt, they didn't have a clue in terms of what to do, and the same thing we're facing here today in the society, you know what I mean? All right? Verse 25, and the Most High looked upon the children of Israel, and the Most High had respect unto them. He said, all right, for Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob's sake, I say, nah, I ain't letting more people them suffer like that along that. I ain't letting them go into that. You follow? So you're going to do. I said to Moses, you're going. Let me get a mission here one time, right? Your mission is to go back to them, train them, and now you had to work with them because they don't know what's good, right? Now, the scriptures talk about Moses was one of the meekest men on the earth. That is a man who could really go through communities and them and assess, because he had the mind of the Most High now, and see, well, boy, all right, this is how we got to tackle it now. But without that structure, and how you going to fix that? There's only a wishing, and you only wishing in a well. Just say, well, you know, well, I go, you know, I go do something good for my people and them when they're not equipped. So that is why our community is facing that. So here going at one time, but now we had to say, okay, it's better I do so and really and truly take a peek down and learn, because do what you have to do. Even better, if this is what you want to do. You don't believe the Israelite school of universal practical knowledge, especially your sisters, you know, thinking what them fellas only like woman. Or you don't want man could have more than one wife and all that. You know, if you feel like that is, you know, like men on garbage and BS, just go and look up everybody, right? Look up everybody. Like if it is that you're uncomfortable with your situation today, and you really say, but we really suffering then, and I really want to make a change here, or you wait until, you know, you're back against the wall again, and you have to say, you have to cry out to the Most High again. That's like the Shana. That's like we was doing. We, the same people here, was doing back in that time. So when you do that, because the scripture say, you know, the prophets come unto the people them last, like unto death. Right? So you're gone. And we ain't gonna hold no grudge against it, you know what I mean? But the Lord don't show you don't turn on mercy. So that's what we just trying to keep on in mind. So now whenever it is that we people in them, you know what I mean, have an opportunity to connect with us, we could do that. All right, so what you want to do is go ahead and check, you know what I mean? Go and see if there's any other place, you know what I mean, that will teach you, understand your records as it's supposed to go, the proper order, and you'll see who the Lord is. All right, there's a sidebar. We don't Baba Kusha worry. 82 and 6 Baba Kusha.
Psalms chapter 82 and verse 6. I have said, you are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High.
Right, so the gods, the rulers, the judges, that's what God means in Hebrew, Elohim, which is powers, rulers, judges, right? You are the people that are given a higher standard to run the world right. That's as King Solomon do. There's anything we talk here is biblical, right? All the scriptures in this line up. Nobody else would understand the Bible and teach it because the Lord don't play like that. It's a strict, you understand, a strict way of operating because it's your lives that we have in hand. And I have a question I don't have to answer to. 4. Right? So the Lord making sure you all, you understand, the I.S.U.P.K are giving that church the command in GEN.YAHANNA, and these men and them, just follow what it is them say to do. Just like I tell Moses, Peter and all of them, there's my son here, Christ, follow him. I show you maybe hear that once in your life, maybe in the church. Right? If so much. Right? It may have come out, it may not come out, but it's in the Bible. Same way, follow them and look and listen to what it is they teach and you follow and how they live, and you'll see it mashed up with the records right here. Right? The most popular book on the face of the planet. I think it might be the same. It might be the most sold book however the cases on the planet today still, the Bible. Right? Read it again, Babakisha.
Psalm chapter 82 and verse 6.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have said, you are gods, and all of you are the children of the Most High.
Right, so you that are gods, right? I have said, the Lord said that you, the children of Israel, the sons of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the people of the promise. Right, we done?
Verse 7.
No, that's just 6. Right? So you all are gods. If all of the children, you all are the children of the Most High, but they shall die like men. So if you're talking about us, that is gods, that is rulers, that is judges, that is powers, then he's making a separation now to the people or the children of men. Right? So the children of men now that is die because they're wild. They go on and jump on a cliff somewhere, or they go on skydive and all these set of unreasonable things that you find yourself thrilled and excited and fond of. Right? That is not our culture. It was never like that. The scripture say that Jacob, your forefather, was a man, chilling at home, making sure everything taken care of. But his brother now, right? At that time, Esau, right? The so-called person on the earth. He liked to be in the field and go on hunt and interfere with beehive and bears and interfere with nature and disrupt the course of things. As you see everywhere you go, that is what he does do. If you don't know, you can look it up, right? That is how this man is operating, but that is not how you always operate. That is how you just die like men, because you don't have guidelines for your life. You don't have, a strict way of making sure that you keep a standard to alleviate in unnecessary, destruction, death, and just unnecessary chaos that the world in today, right? Because men run the earth, not the gods. We're not in our right mind because we got all this, all right? From there, go to whole Revelation 18 and 11 and 8. Babakasha. Now let's read Exodus chapter 3 verses 1 to 10, right? Well, let me know when you're up, right? Exodus chapter 3 verse 1. Now Moses kept the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and he led the flock to the backside of the desert and came to the mountain of the Most High, even to Horeb. Verse 2. And the angel of the Lord appeared unto him in a flame of fire out of the midst of a bush. And he looked, and behold, the bush burned with fire, and the bush was not consumed. Verse 3. And Moses said, I will now turn aside and see this great sight, why the bush is not burnt. Right? So this is Moses here now. This is the wise man here. This is how your forefather them had fear the Most High and understand what you're supposed to do. At least having here. The type of fear that having here. Moses say, hey, not me. I not going in on me and see what going on here. The bush burning, but it not consumed, not being consumed. I not seen it burning up. What really taking place here? So he turning away now because the angel of the Lord visiting Moses now to give a message. But he making sure he come with power to let you know who he come on behalf now. Right? That's the Most High, right? So Moses turning away and understanding is enough respect. But here the Christian pastor telling you to have a personal relationship with the Most High. So here go on, you have nobody that over you that checking and making sure that you working as you're supposed to. You have nobody, you understand, that you have to give, you understand, an account of. You have nobody you follow that you're supposed to take guidance from and leadership from. You follow and pattern after the ways of how they live. Because they have the experience, they follow and walk upright to prove themselves worthy of giving you that guidance. So you don't have nobody, you understand, like that. So that eliminates You follow the structure that the Most High put in place for you to be able to live and walk, you understand, and survive, and even thrive in your communities, and right? So you can thank the Christian church again for that. All right? Verse 3. And Moses said, I will now turn aside and see this great sight, why the bush is not burnt. Verse 4. And when the Lord saw that he turned aside to see, the Most High called unto him out of the midst of the bush and said, Moses, Moses. And he said, Here am I. Verse 5. And he said, draw not nigh hither. Put off thy shoes from thy feet, for the place whereon thou standest is holy ground. Enough respect. Moses, you understand? Don't even come close because I'll kill you. You follow? Now today we have it as stringent as that. You follow? So the laws of the Lord, don't take a different route again. That's why it'll be so much more devastating or so much more punishment if we really don't understand or that we need to come back to going back to the structure that the Most High set for you. It's something so far-fetched, something so strange, and not seeming that important to really tune into and really develop and grow and change within yourself, because you're living so, so willy-nilly for so long. It's just like, well, boy, I'm going to do and play a mark, and if it bust, it bust. So if I feel to behave myself, I behave myself. And while you're doing that, you just continue to be destroyed. You just continue to get in more debt, maybe in the prison, you follow? You have people without guidance. Yeah, your baby mother, you know what I mean? She fighting down here and oppressing you, because when you know not operating as you're supposed to with wisdom, you can't guide them to be able to produce and understand the things that will keep your house running. So you know what on here? She getting frustrated and you getting frustrated. So you know what I'm coming fairness now, the warrant man. Right? Because they leave off, you follow the things and then they will protect your household. Alright? Reading on. Verse 6. Moreover, he said, I am the power of thy father, the God of the power of Abraham, the power of Isaac, and the power of God. Right? The God of Jacob, right? And Moses hid his face, for he was afraid to look upon the Most High. That is how we're supposed to be, not living like, well, I could sin, you know what I mean? And yeah, boy, I will get away with that. Not supposed to have no kind of evil in you, you know what I mean? And you ain't disgusted at that, especially when you know that is not to do. You're supposed to have that kind of reference in it to know, boy, yeah, boy, I need to fix that. And these things are them is because I was born and shaped in iniquity, which means I grew up in a chaotic society. I grew up in a disgusting society that didn't fear the Most High power, because men rule over us and not powers, not people that know how to order society right. All right? Verse 7. And the Lord said, I have surely seen the affliction of my people, which are in Egypt, and I have heard their cry by reason of their taskmasters. So the same men that ruling over us in Egypt, same men that ruling over us today. Right? Men that don't have that kind of care and compassion. Beasts, good beasts, but them don't care, you understand? Some of them will present them, especially Syrian, and they'll work it to death, work about 4 or 5 jobs, and they don't care what it is you have to do. And let's make sure you come back to work my job tomorrow, a taskmaster. You follow? Especially them pastor them that over here, because them saying pay tithes. And the Lord say pay tithes increase, so you're in a pandemic and ain't pulling in no money, and then they just want to milk you down. That is when they have no law, when they have no structure, when they have no accountability. That is what continue to happen. They get destroyed systematically, and the things is you're not seeing it because they're pushing it in the media, they're pushing it and bombing that in your head right through. So as long as you could feel, you understand that you close to God and sing something and pray in the night, and the Lord not hearing your prayer because you're sinning, you're not having respect unto him like Moses. If also now you have no place to the Most High. It's just by reason of mercy, because of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You understand? You're surviving on here today, but it could have been much worse, and you're already, you understand, in a very, very destroyed condition as a people. All right, verse 8. And I am come down to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptians, and to bring them up out of that land unto a good land and a large, unto a land flowing with milk and honey. That's how you're supposed to be living. A land that would make sure that, you know what I mean, that you have enough abundance to weigh in spoil rich, but you know what I mean, that you could more than live comfortable. You know what they say, well to do? Like, you know what I mean, like that. I want to put that kind of Christianity or that kind of stigma on the Bible. The Bible not so. The Bible, the Lord have 1,000 cattle on a hill. However, he choose to give that man as a portion, because he know that man go distribute it right, and whatever the case is. Wealth is not for us like Elon Musk and them to consider what I have 100,000, 100 million, billion in the bank. If all and look at me, oh, and all that is a fool. All of them is idiots. That's what the scriptures talking about. The wisdom of the world is foolishness to the Most High, because what are they doing with it? You have people in a place starving and wherever it is on them Somalian or wherever it is on TV begging and all them things and right next door to the next nation, you understand, Akon building up big cities, you follow billions of dollars and thing running. You're a fool, you're a shepherd. You don't understand mercy, you don't understand compassion, you don't understand. You follow how to make sure things keep on running good and continue to develop better with time, like good wine. You know, to make it age nice. If all that's what we under, that's the mind state that our leaders and so-called leaders, that's the Christian pastor, the Muslim imam, you understand, the politician, all of that they follow, and that's what in their minds, everything that you hear, and it's just systematic destruction coming at you and attacking you, and you ain't even seen where it's coming from. That is the most dangerous part about it. Alright? Verse 8. Let me read over that again. Exodus chapter 3, verse 8. And I am come down to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptians, right? And to bring them up out of the land unto a good and a large. Here where you choke up like how we live in today. You understand? Box up like cockroach in a matches box. Right? That's how we're supposed to live. A little distance, you know what I mean? So I could talk free, I could talk my business, and my neighbor had to hear. And that is not even in the culture to be listening to a man conversation. That is to tell you how the Lord then put everything so that this would have been so normal. That you look how much land it have, right? All in the mountains, all of that. Look how they have people choke up in the societies and all that. They say about that too. If you had the definition of Jews, right? I know it in there, but that's a sidebar, right? Jews, they say the place, you understand, a place in the ghettos where the Jews always, or ghetto, the definition of ghetto, the place where the Jews always reside. So they always go and push the Jews in a corner to oppress them. And they want to have the big mansions here and all of that. And whoever in their society, right, that want to do the most heinous acts and oppress the children of Israel, like that is their fun. So once you're doing that, we'll make sure that you understand you're a billionaire, you're a multi-millionaire, right? And any one of us or people in that sell out, right? Anybody that was saying anything on the TV would act anyway, you know what I mean, and show you how to degrade yourself and have no respect. You follow for your body because they're not understanding. They follow what things are designed for. Right? So they can't have the place running as it's supposed to. Look what's going with next side body. Look what's going with King Solomon when the Queen of Sheba come across. The Queen of Sheba takes Solomon's servant for Solomon. First, Solomon had all the things right. That is why you could come back to black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man, woman, child. That is your culture. You follow? Not this madness that we see today. Alright? Right? So onto the place of the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites. Verse 9. Now therefore, behold, the cry of the children of Israel has come unto me, and I have also seen the oppression wherewith the Egyptians oppressed them. The Egyptians oppressed us that time. Egypt, you understand, house of bondage, the place that we in slavery, and today we in slavery under the so-called white man, under the Caucasian, the oppressor. They follow the same way they're oppressing us, they're oppressing us worse in this time. All right, verse 10. Come now, therefore, and I will send thee unto Pharaoh, that thou mayest bring forth my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt. Right? So that is what the I.S.U.P.K and the commanding general have the same task to do. You see, all going with Egypt and they get destroyed, history repeats itself. What you don't want to do, you understand, is fall prey unnecessarily, you understand, to that. Because what you're supposed to learn is like the back of your forehand. All the laws and them in the Bible, that's supposed to be in you. You know what I mean? That's supposed to be like, yeah, this is what we just do. This is how we just dress, you know what I mean? This is how we just live, this is how we just eat. You know what I mean? Everything else is we talking about like garbage. Imagine you watching, you understand, crab and lobster and all these different things and watching it and see like, boy, that is real, you know, that big life, and we watching it like you critically insane, or you understand? Like you look like a vegan swimming in the water back in the days. Back in the time when we was in rulership and power, you looking like you running down to swim in the water when the rain falling. You know me like a homeless brother, nah. That is how often the Sunday Christian church make you become today, real base. After the ways of beast. Alright? Give me the Revelation 11 and 8 Babakosha. Proof again, if follow that Egypt that we in slavery in Egypt, and today we in America, and this is what going on with us. See what the scripture saying. Go ahead.
Revelation 11, chapter 11, verse 8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the grave.
Hold on, Salaki. Give me that again, Babakosha. And the what?
And their dead bodies.
And their dead bodies, Trayvon Martin, George Floyd, Philando Castile, Alton Sterling, Shaquan McDonald, you understand? John, with him, and our brother are well renowned with big education and all that. Bottom John, shoot him in the house, you understand? Sandra Bland, Brianna Taylor, you understand? Sit down in your house, normal, you know what I mean? You there and you kicking back, relaxing, chucking a little game, or you know what I mean, eating something, talking with your friend, you know what I mean, talking on the phone, something like that, and just you come in and this man feel, you understand, feel to just bust shots wild. And just, you know, just feel like, okay, we had to get one today, and you use that target, all, you know what I mean? Like, where do you expect for that is? So you're watching these things and you're not understanding that it's because of the oppressors and the taskmasters, these Christian pastors and these religious leaders and these politicians and that over you is the cause of your demise. And it's because you're listening to them and thinking you follow that they will give you some guidance. You know why? Because they didn't go tell you what you need to stop smoking now. Right? And according to Proverbs 16 and 27, you follow an evil man as they get up on the ground and put it in the lip. And he fires a lip. You understand? According to Ezekiel 8 and 17, you know what I mean? You put the branch to your nose. They ain't got, because they ain't telling you that and they say, well, you can do what you want, you know what I mean? You on the side of them. At the expense of who? When you sit down in the jail, you know what I mean? If you end up making it to the jail, which is some mercy still. And imagine you spending a whole lifetime to think about everything like that. Or you might see your son, you might bury your son or your daughter. Because this oppressor, you understand that? Not living by laws. He framing mischief, you understand, by a law. And everything he making his loophole to come out like the 1%, the 1%, the 1%. Everybody in Trinidad, nobody 1%. So why does you want change that? Because there's only 1% of them. Why won't you understand 1% of black people in Trinidad decide, okay, we're going on a hunt and see well where the truth is. You know, that is never a thing, that is never come out in the news. Nobody's come on march and say, okay, we're gonna find out exactly where you understand the way to live is. You know, everybody want a shortcut. Well, majority of people, because that is what they're peddling on the TV. That is the kind of mindset. We have to get to that point to be fed up enough to go and look and search all the solution. The Lord say, when you search for me, you seek for me with all your heart, you'll find. That is what these brothers are inside the school do. You understand? The Lord push we to a point enough, you understand, that we say, okay, enough is effing enough. Excuse my French. We decide, all right, by the grace and mercy of the Lord, we just end up coming to learn a little bit just before, so that we can be prepared now to come and pass on this information to you and be held to the highest standard, so that we could do it. That you would have a proper chance, a proper way to escape from all this madness that we see here, because it's not anything easy. So not just like everybody inside here don't know the task. Nobody in here is guessing. If we know, you know that there's somebody above us that knows. That's so you know. Right? It's not for fun. This here is because we see in your death coming. You can read about you tomorrow in the papers. You might be watching the class now, and depending on how fast you make that transition, this might be the last time you get that one. All right? From there, give me Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 5, Baba Kashat.
Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 5.
You done?
Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Most High, my power, commanded me.
Right, so that is Moses talking to us here. The Lord gave us statutes and judgments to give to Moses to pass on to us, the children of Israel, right? We done?
That you shall do so in the land whether you go to possess it.
Wherever you go, you wasn't supposed to leave off that. Right? The reason why you don't know it because you leave it off the way your tickets were so slight that in the 1600s they cut us completely off. You understand? They used to burn our eyes if they found us reading the Bible by ourselves. The only thing you learn, you follow, is what I wanted to learn. That is your oppressor. That is your Caucasian. That is so-called white man. That's what he used to do. So in the 1600s, coming up to all this time, the reason why you don't have an idea that you use the tribe of Benjamin in the West Indies, that the so-called Negro in America, you understand, the tribe of Judah, that the Central and South Americans they follow. You always the tribe of Asher, the tribe of, you understand, Zebulon, the tribe of Naphtali, down in Peru and down to Chile there, right? Argentina to Chile, or Peru, wherever that is, right? Coming up the line, the Mexican, the so-called tribe of I.S.U.P.K, the so-called Mexican Selaki, the tribe of I.S.U.P.K. The reason why you don't know this is because you take it so light to where they deliberately and make sure that you don't have an idea where to trace back your roots in them. But you're going in this Bible time, this time, the test of time. This will always live. You follow. That is why the Lord say, understand His word will go out and it would not return unto him void, because this is the only thing, right, that would stand up against anything on the face of the planet. I say, seek ye out of the book and read it. As none of these shall fail, none of them could, nothing could match the Lord. You understand? Nothing could match anything that written in your record say, because that directly tied to you. This is how you're going to come back to it. You follow, so this is mercy here now to come back to how you're supposed to be living. Because if the Lord didn't give you laws and the Lord laws wasn't full of mercy, you know, you'd have been dead. When I hear about a nation of commanding GEN.YAHANNA, a nation of Moses, right? But that is not the case. The Lord give you some opportunity to come back. And you can read on a little bit more and go into that same mind frame of how the Lord is thinking and how the church, the men and them that set up under the Lord is thinking, and why it's so important, and why you have to understand that this mercy here is the best thing that you could ever get, the laws of the Most High. Our opportunity to come back and really and truly harness the power of walking in according to the laws of the Most High. All right? Read on, Baba Kisha.
Verse 6. Keep therefore and do them.
Right.
But this is your wisdom and on your understanding in the sight of the nations.
Pause right here. So here Moses know that these people and them, they follow that rule over you have no sense. They say, you understand, you keep and do them, and this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations. Why? What else say we don't?
Which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people.
Surely this great nation, the children of Israel, is a wise and understanding people. You don't?
Verse 7. For what nation is there so great, who hath the Most High so near unto them? As the Most High our power is in all things that we call upon him for.
Right? So it's saying here, you always follow the ear of the Most High. You call upon him for what it is you need, you follow. You obey this like a good father and he will reward you. But that's so far-fetched now. It's so distant from him because he ain't doing exactly what he's saying to do. That's why you can't get, you follow, you can't get delivered. And that's all you want in them. All you have to do is come back to what it is you're doing, and that's the end of the society. That's the end of your relationship. This is the last time that they'll have a taskmaster and people going down the street and giving you all manner of cooking and drugs and drugging up your sisters and them, and snatching your sisters, snatching your children, and carrying them somewhere, you understand, the back of God back somewhere. Sex slaves, human trafficking, and all these different pandemics, right? The AIDS epidemic and all these different things. This is the last time you'll see that. All you have to do is come back to your guidelines and them. All these things in them is what is happening when you leave off your structure, your heritage, your constitution. Every time you leave it off, you find yourself going on a suicide mission. That's why, you know what I mean? Like I just tell myself, hey, you understand? Make sure you're not jumping on the suicide mission. Go back to, you know what I mean? Go back to the book of life. Don't spend too long away from it. You know what I mean? So I continue to tell myself that. You understand? Especially yourself. Make sure you understand you're not on the suicide train then. Go back and dig up in your records, ask questions, you know what I mean? And that's the same thing you need to do because you don't know it. In order for you to jump off the suicide train, black man, Native American man, Hispanic man, you follow, and woman, you had to jump off the suicide train right now. You're on it head first, head into nowhere, and you don't know exactly when it will happen to you. That's the thing. You're not in control of nothing. You need to get back in control in terms of how it is you can react to ensure that certain things ain't happening to you, like unnecessarily. And when you die, you have a better chance of coming back. Because we don't just die and stay in the ground. As a heathen don't have no expectation a different life. And here the thing about it, when you die, depending on how you die, you'll either come back to a worse situation or a better situation. That is your choice. Depending on how nice you think your life is right now, think about it. Because you might be living good, but you're going to be better than them around in the corner, them eating them. And because you'd say, I don't give a damn about them. I don't care about what it is they might do, whatever the case is, wherever them, you understand, they matter care how they living, and you now have OnlyFans, you know what I mean? Or you, wherever you scamming, you're robbing, wherever the places, you're a big politician, you know, and you're really concerned about that. Sometimes it might be somebody hog tying you, and the same brothers that you say that they don't care about, you know what I mean? They're looking to eat now. And you're going to look, they ain't going at the oppressor because they don't know that instant death. They ain't facing that because they don't know the coward already. So anybody who's the easier target, guess who they're going for? That's as the Christian pastor know he's the easiest target, he's the weakest link, and they're going for you. Guess what will happen? Cause and effect. You don't deal with the situation, eventually it'll come back and you know what I mean, and come around full circle and touch you. And then you get away. All right, read on, Babu Kisha.
Verse 8.
Yeah, Baba Kusha.
Verse 8. And what nation is there so great that had statute and judgment so righteous as all this law?
Right, so the laws of the Most High, they always know is righteous. They always know that they're not on our level. It's because you stripped away from that is the only reason why these heathens opening them out. Only reason why they think you follow because they know you're so far gone and they're so dumb. They never had wisdom, they never had knowledge. The Lord found all the ways of knowledge and gave it to you. So that is why you follow you could think to open them out like that and think that you could never come back to that standard. All you have to do is just understand that this is you here in the Bible. Then. Once you understand that this is you, all you have to do is come back to what you used to do, and that's about it. That's what he said. Nobody could, why does you have to go to work, you understand, and let them oppress you and do what it is, whatever they want to do to you? Some sisters going to work and they're trying to touch you, you understand, trying to touch you, giving some kind of remarks you follow, and nobody, and you make a case already, whatever the case is, and then saying, oh, you're too frightened because they know they have $10,000 that they could just bump you off easy, and you're not a problem no more. Why you would have yourself subject to that? As opposed to living how you're supposed to live, and it ain't hard. The Lord say, understand that his laws and give us, be there. You understand, being hanging somewhere, you know what I mean? Being dragging, being full of stroke, and all that. You see the brothers on here? You see the brothers all over the place, you know what I mean? And they live their lives much more better now. Because they come back to what they're supposed to do. Right? And I mean, what's going on with you? You have to see your light. You know what I mean? I need to stop letting people walk over me like a floor mat. The way out to do that, again, the Lord protection once more again is just to do what He said to do. Other than that, you will be seeing the same poison you follow that causing the same harm and danger in your society. That is why the Lord can't give you understand the things that you're supposed to get, especially the knowledge. That is time has come after, and you have to humble yourself. You're not in the place that you're supposed to be in. You know what I mean? So you ain't have it all together, so-called black man, Latino man, Native Indian man. No matter where you think you're a master, you get 10 degrees, it don't make no difference. All you have, your followers, the way to think about it is to misuse it. Because you have the mind of our oppressor. As our oppressor ruling over you, the man who know how in slavery. The same colleges they went to, they have records, they maybe have Negro skin shoes right now still there. Genital somewhere you follow what they used to do, you know what I mean? All them different experiments on you. It's still there. We done about the shop.
I set before you this day. Verse 9.
Right.
Only take heed to thyself and keep thy soul diligently, lest thou forget the things which I have seen, and lest thou depart from thy heart all the days of thy life, but teach them thy sons and thy sons' sons.
Right, so they're not supposed to leave out for your mind. It's supposed to be there so that they know what you're telling your son. We do eat crab, we do eat shrimp, we do eat lobster. We do eat these things, and we follow this is what we eat. You follow because you're not going and get heart disease. I was going to pull up the record, but for time's sake, because if I look in Trinidad and I look at the leading causes of that, I see, I feel like checking up later, right? So I see heart attack, heart disease, I see blood pressure, I see diabetes. You understand? COVID-19 ain't there yet. You follow on the top list yet, right? Lower down, probably 8th position, I see HIV/AIDS. All these different things, you have laws to prevent these things. If all the different pleasures that you're seeking and all of that you buying into, that your oppressor have the money and the wherewithal, if all to continue to live lavish and whatever it is he wants to do and make that look glamorous to you, is your demise, causing your destruction all the time because you're not in his position. Your culture is not his culture. Whatever he feel he want to do, let him get punished for it. You is never to take part in that, and because you in the course says because you know doing exactly what he do, the Lord ain't different between in terms, you know you're different. You know you make it separate. But now you're moving like a degenerate, you're moving like a I.S.U.P.K. You follow, so now you're in the way and that's getting destruction. So the Lord can't say, well, boy, I can remember big hammer now and then crush your enemies and them because you're in the way, brother. You're in the way, sister. And you're proud too, you know what I mean? You're walking about like a, you know what I mean? Like a chicken with no neck. Because the pastor and them now feed it and what's that garbage, and because you feel the pastor has some pockets, he line off, you know what I mean? A smooth face and whatever it is, you think that he's saying something. When look at his works, look at the fruits, what he doing for the community. You always looking, you know, you're so selfish. That is what you mean. That is what going on. Under the influence of these people, they become so selfish. All you're looking for is when it's my turn to get blessings. So you're going again, you follow, and you know, and you know, you understand in your as I say, in your heart of hearts, that what you're all doing, you're not putting out the effort to get any results. knowing that you went to school and you went and studied for your 4 years to get a degree and all that, but you're going to come to church and get things for free. That is not the work that's work. That is not the Lord's work. The pastor make you feel God is your auto machine. God is IMS. That is not the most high power. You need to come out for that. Watch how Moses then operate. Come back to the place where you'll get, you understand, proper order and instruction for your life, so you have a proper guide. The Lord give you real mercy, and the laws of the Most High is full of mercy. That's why you're in destroyed today. It's now taking off the part of destruction so that you can live longer. You follow, you can sleep better. You don't have to go through these different things and all this hell you're facing. Why you had to go through that as a people in the first place? So think about that black man, Native Indian man, Hispanic man and woman, children. Think about these things and you know what I mean? Well, as you're going about your day to day and see what okay, I need to make a transition or I'm not continue to on the road of death. If you like our suicide taste, you know what I mean? When it come up with that nice bitter taste again and the boss do whatever they want, or you know what I mean, the mortgage company just decide to raise the rate just so, and it's we call it some 6x9 story, and then you have to take it and you have to find your way somehow. Remember these things and remember these words in them. Hopefully, you understand your life to come and make a change. Alright? Remember Matthew chapter 5, verse 48, Bible question. I'll skip. That's something there, but I'll skip. Matthew chapter 5, verse 48, then I go read 17 to 19. Yeah. You like perfection? You like how things look on the road? I mean on the TV, you know what I mean, a princess and a palace and everything nice. You like perfection? Here's what you require to have in you. You follow to be able to have things running as it's supposed to again. You know what I mean? You have to utilize the mercies of the Most High, the grace period. That's what grace is. Yeah, a grace period to come back to how you're supposed to be operating. That is what's going to make the whole difference. You know what I mean? If you really and truly fed about how things going, then learn to be perfect. Read it, Baba Kasha. Go ahead.
Matthew chapter 5 and verse 48. Be you therefore perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect.
Right. So be therefore perfect for your Father in heaven is perfect. I didn't get a chance to read this part right here. And here's what we're going to read the definition of humane. This is the kind of characteristics your Father in heaven have. He's a perfect man, and this is what you want it to be. Humane. When you're not humane, you know what it is do? I'm going for my blessing. My blessing. I want a personal relationship with God. I don't want you hang up with him. I don't want you, understand? I self it, especially your women. You're spoiled, rotten. The way you understand, you're a cesspool within your mind, within your community. You're so destructive and so toxic that you're not even aware of it. And you need that push out of your system and them. You follow your brother in here will love you to death and chastise your backside till you get right in your mind. Because we know in here that you right now you're crazy, you stark man. You're absolutely crazy. You're absolutely insane. Because we know the man that rule over here, he's a man 20,000 times insane. He understand he have no bearings. He only making things look good on TV, very good at masking that. But that is a skill, very skill hunter. That is the only thing he have going for him. And then look at the works. But here what you need to have humanity or be humane, and that is what your Father in heaven have. Because he care about the children of Israel to make sure that, hey, I will send somebody to give them guidance and send them back, you know what I mean, to come back to the right way they're supposed to be living. That real mercy, that real love. That is what the Most High have in you. You have to have that in you. To have mercy and long suffering and patience and all that. Before you going through that process, you can never suffer for one another. You can never know what love is. You'll never have love in you. Alright? Let me read that definition real quick, right? So, humane, marked by compassion, sympathy, or consideration for humans or animals. You know what I mean? Like how your oppressor animals eat bat and all these different things in them. You know, like that. Even if we go and hunt, whatever the case is, we go and hunt for one day, they're going to hunt for the head tilt away. To put it up on the wall. You see black people doing that? That is not our traits. If all of the most I have is a man that is humane. You have, you know what I mean? You have care and consideration for the children of Israel. That is why you have the I.S.U.P.K set up under command in GEN.YAHANNA today. Alright? Yeah, man. So, that's what you want to look into. Alright, let me read Matthew 5, 17 to 19, and you lock it up there, right? You close up there now. Alright? Matthew chapter 5, verse 17 to 19. Here what you ought to understand that Christ said. If you believe that you like the Bible, that you even like the Bible, you might love it. But you even like the Bible, like certain things in it, hear what Christ said. Right? Matthew 5, chapter 7, verse 17. Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I ain't come to destroy the law that the Most High put on, nor what the prophets and them say and how to operate. All right? I am not come to destroy, to fulfill. I come to show you exactly how to live it out. Read through them, read through your records and go back through it. You understand? Especially later on in Matthew and Mark, all the different things. Watch the way Christ was talking, and you don't understand something, ask them questions in class. It have tons of brothers, generals come down. I would answer questions to make sure that you get the proper pathway to come back to how you're supposed to live. All right? Verse 18, for verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, right? Heaven, the heavens above, and the earth that under we feet right now, till that pass, not one jot or one tittle shall in no wise, shall in no way in hell, right? Pass the law, the SHALAM, right? And no wise pass from the law. So nothing gonna change. Guys didn't change nothing. He come to show you exactly how to do it. He come to fulfill it, tell you, know why come in the volume of the book, this is how you're supposed to walk. Alright, this is how you apply the law. This is the mindset that I wanted you all to understand in the first case with the law. That they might get tired of you and understand what Moses is saying. This is what the Most I wanted you to always think about. To come off that, you understand? Come off that evil train, come off that evil road. And learn to be proper, learn to be upright. This is how you was designed to be. Not frail and breaking every minute. You know what I mean? And you know, you carefully walk and focus and all that. It's supposed to be on a train that will have you understand with a backbone. Now we're standing up. This is how a human being, if all a man or woman is supposed to operate, especially a power, rule and the judge. You have a different standard, you have a different, you understand, thing in your core because of the things that your forefathers passed down to you. Right? You have some different, you most I don't put, you understand, salt in you, flavor on you. You just make everything shine, you make everything taste different, taste better. Right now you're using it for evil. And having the world just making money off of your milking you and you just prostitute yourself. Man, woman, you follow because you're just going after another god, whichever form or fashion. It might be only fans, but something you do and you follow, whichever way. When you look at it, you're going against the Most High. You're not keeping the laws. You know what I mean? You're not keeping the things that is keep a society running. You don't have to be suffering like that. Your people don't have to be suffering like that. Does it sense? Why does all we can, you know what I mean, have enough bottles to drink together and like myself and enough thing to cook? Why does you follow? Why does we have to do that? We don't need to be doing that. Alright? Verse 19. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments, that is a pastor, he breaking all of them, right? And shall teach men, so he's teaching men and women to break the law, telling them it's not done on it because you don't want to be held to that high standard. So when you break it, you want to say, like, you know, we all human. And you know, we always fall sometime, but Christ saying be perfect. That is what you want you all to come back to. Having a sustainable society. You understand? That's how it's supposed to be living. Alright? He shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. Right? Isaiah 53, when I get some time, read it through 53, 10 to 12. See what great in the kingdom means. You understand? That is what Christ most I make. But we read that, that's the last scripture you read, right? So to be great in the kingdom is to get the reputation Christ get for the suffering that he take on for us, right? Isaiah chapter 53, verse 10. He had to please the Lord to bruise him. So he now had to take on and follow the punishment for our sins, right? Instead of we gain it. So that is again the mercy that we get from the Most High to come back to keep the laws, which he say that he come to fulfill, that he didn't take away, he didn't break it in, because he didn't done away with, he didn't throw it away. He didn't cancel it and say, well, we're doing what it is I say now. No. We're doing what the Most High say to do, and this is how to do it. I come to show you the proper example, right? He had to please the Lord to bruise him. He had put him to grief. When thou shalt make a soul an offering for sin, right? The only perfect offering because he had to be perfect. That's why he's saying, you know what I mean? Be perfect in heaven. Be perfect, Salakia, as your Father in heaven is perfect because he did it. Right? He shall see his seed. He shall prolong his days. And the pleasure of the Lord shall prosper in his hand. Everything that the Lord said to do, you know, make a prosper in your hand. That is why, you know what I mean? That this word now go in here and everybody want a peace side. Everybody want to be an Israelite. Everybody want to be, you know, want to get the blessings of the Bible. Everybody want to claim the season. But nobody want to do exactly what the Bible said to do. Right? Especially heathen. The heathen want to try and suck up every way that they can get something to eat. That is how they do. Their God is their belly. You ain't supposed to live so. You have a responsibility as a people. And you know what I mean? It just lacks. It is slack that we're not in the mindset that we're supposed to be in as a people. Right? So that is the mission to get better, get much better, get perfect. Right? He shall see Verse 11. He shall see of the travail of his soul and shall be satisfied. By his knowledge shall my righteous servant justify many, for he shall bear their iniquities. Right? Verse 12. Therefore I will divide him a portion with the great. Right? And where Christ is sitting right now, everybody know. At the right hand of the Father, right? There is a portion, rulership. That is where the great will be. All right? So to be able to do that, and you want to live and see the world, you know what I mean, as it's supposed to be, and as painted in the movies, perfect and happy and wait this happy ever after. You know what I mean? Happy till forever. If that is how you want to live, you have to come back to how you're supposed to live. So that you have to take on that same attributes or the same spirit that Christ had in him, you follow, and show you exactly how to walk. You're going to come back to get a portion with the great. Just as Christ get a portion with the great. All right? And with that, you know what I mean? You pass the class over to Priest and Officer Shah.
Security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K. out of 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yohanna. Rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes to the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are here to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the word. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to another brother or sister. There's another 6 months which a brother or sister will court each other. After the 6 month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes was just a commandment. You can find this in Numbers chapter 18 and verse 21 and Malachi chapter 3 verse 8 to 10. Means 10 in Hebrew as from my chart. 10% of every penny and increase the most I give to the Treasury Department, teacher, priest fund, fuel offering for priests, non-mandatory, whatever amount you like to give. Upcoming Holy Convocation.
Alright, I had the date, but it was April the 24th, but you had the scriptures on here, right?
That will be April the 24th, right? And you can find this in the Passover on the 14th day of the 15th month, right? You can find this in the book of Exodus chapter 12, verse 1 to 51, Leviticus chapter 23, verse 4 and 5, 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 7 and 8, and 2 Chronicles chapter 30, verse 17. Reminder after that watch and to check on social media such as I.S.U.P.K, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for I.S.U.P.K events and materials. If your brother wants to be a trooper in the school, then he should start wearing all black, which includes black boots, light shirt, light pants, light headband, or scarf. With that we said, madam. Sir, put down. We're going to say the Lord prayer in Hebrew. Abanawa, Shabashamayam, Wadash, Aya, Shamka, Yahweh, Alapaka, Aba'a, Adazaka, Aya, I.S.U.P.K, Arataza, Kawa, Aya, Ashamayam, Yatan, Lanawa, Lakam, Kal, Yawam, Wasalaknoa, Awakinoa, Asalaknoa, Awakinoa, Wala'a, Tabianoa, Mayasawan, Abal, Oshaino, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Aka, Malakwa, Waala, Watapara, Mayalomium, Aman.
In the English, what we just said was, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it.
Because it's the blessings in Hebrew. Barak,
Atah,
Yahweh, Yahushai, Wamakala, Wahala, Wa'alahayam, Atazabia, Alawapiahana, Alawapiam, Asaranyam, Aquaptazaliam, Aquayaliam, Wakwatiam, Yahweh, Basham, Oshai, Wadaman.
Alright, in the English, bless Yahweh.
Bless Yahweh.
And Yahushai. And Michael. And the angels. Commander General. Generals. Captains. The officers. The troopers. And the sisters. Yahweh. In the name of Yahushai. Thank you. So be it.
We're going to say the Hakat, Yahweh, Basham, Oshai, Babukasha, Akat, Kalmakala, Marawan, Akat, Lata, Bazariam, Akat, Lakoyam, Matayam, Akat, Ayakwat, Atamala, Lagarishan, Basham, Oshai, Wadaman.
In the English, Yahweh. In the name of Yahushai. Please give us the power. The power to heal. All manner of sickness. And all manner of disease. The power to cleanse the lepers. The power to raise the dead. The power against unclean spirits. Cast them out. In the name of Yahushai. Thank you. So be it. I.S.U.P.K curses. Blessed are you, Yahweh. King of heaven and earth. And all things living. Yahweh. In the name of Yahushai. Listen to us now. Right now. Set evils and curses. And punishment and destruction. To the heathen. And speak against us. Thy prophets. The teachers. The princes. The priests. The Israelite brothers. And the school. Set evils and curses. And punishment and destruction. To the heathen. Shake loose the treasure of the rich of Israel that refuse to give to the school. Force the riches to enter into thy sanctuary. Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction to the Edomites and the nations and the drug dealers, the court system, the prison system, Planned Parenthood, all the governments of our enemies, Amalek synagogues and armies, Roman Catholic Church, the Pope, Islam, Christianity, Egyptology, militia, Ku Klux Klan, Aryan Nation, Skinheads, Hosikomatazzi, Gay Movement, Lesbian Movement, Spies, Workers of Witchcraft, NASA Space Program, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Wall Street, open up the internet, on the airwaves, the cable access channel, on the radio channel, convict the spirit of any of thy people that seek to stop us, and bring sick destruction to all the heathen, and stand in the way, or try to stop us from broadcasting your words to all the planet Earth. But loose all the plagues, cause them to go to and fro to the earth, and consume them. Let the plague shake the house of the thief and the murderer. Let Yahushua, Michael, and Gabriel come down with the flying saucers and punish all the heathens and come up against us as we speak thy word. Cause it to be known by all that it is the angels that have done it. Cause it to be spread to the media, throughout the whole world. Cause them to shake at thy coming. In the name of Yahushua. And you always. So be it.
We're going to say bless Israel. Yahweh, Basham, Oshai, Rashala, Wahabayat, Safari, Barak, Rafa, Agun. Commander General, Generals, Captains, the officers, troopers, students, sisters, brothers and sisters fighting the community, children. Have mercy upon all the destroyed of Israel. Have mercy upon all our families. Brothers and sisters in the I.S.U.P.K.
Brothers and sisters in the I.S.U.P.K.
Brothers and sisters fighting coming in the truth.
Brothers and sisters fighting the coming in the truth.
Children and babies in the I.S.U.P.K.
Children and babies in the I.S.U.P.K.
Francois family.
Brown family.
Zion.
Wesleyan. Daniela. Amelia. Ashida. Trisha. Chantel. Mylin. Nima. Khadijah. Basham. Oshai. Wadaman. In the English, Lord, in the name of Yahushua, bless us, and Israel, and the school, bless, heal, shield, protect our loved ones, in the name of Yahushua, thank you, so be it.
Sir, let's get a teacher one because he's salute, Imagine Shabbat. Imagine, Barak, Yahweh Shimmer Shagrakata,
Yahweh Shimmer Shagrakata.
Yadimata, Sa. Let's get sisters online. One quiz is Imagine Shabbat. Imagine, Barak, Yahweh Shimmer Tan Bashimmer Shai. Yadimata, God dismiss.